Hey, Dan here, and I'm answering an AskDan question from Jim in Tennessee. He's an INFP and says, I am an INFP, who shares in the desire we INFPs have to make an impact on humanity. It is the most deep-seated goal that consumes me when all other thought vacates and I find myself evaluating my life on a bigger picture. My problem is that I have no idea what it is that I want to contribute to the world. I don't lack for passion on topics and certain activities. I just don't know through what medium I can deliver the best of what I have to offer. I'm in my head so much that I don't know how to deliver the rich and intellectually stimulating content that exists in my inner landscape in a consumable way for others. I guess my question is, how do I formulate and hone in on what I want to contribute to the world? And how do I clarify and translate my inner content into content that others will receive in as best a form as can be expected? Thank you. Well, I have to admit, Jim, it took me like 6 times to read your questions.
I'm in my head.
My ability to translate your thoughts from your words into words that I then say proved surprisingly difficult today. So what's going on with you, Jim, is the same thing that I think most INFPs experience, which is that you have this rich inner world, you have a lot going on in here. Now I have to take you at your word that it's intellectually stimulating and very deep. For all I know, you're just, imagining a bunch of monkeys dancing around playing the drums, but to each their own, right? So whatever your intellectually stimulating landscape is, you need to find a way to translate that to the world. Now, I know your question you ended with was, how do you clarify what you share or how you share it with people? And I'm not going to answer that question. I'm going to answer with the advice that I think is most valuable for an INFP and that really supersedes the question, which is what I strongly recommend doing is investing a lot of your time into developing an extremely strong communication ability in any possible medium. This is ultimately going to prove to be the most valuable thing you can do, is to develop the ability to communicate what's going on in here with the world. There are many different mediums you can do this. Visually, it could be everything from illustrating to drawing to painting to photography to probably other things. I guess videography would be one as well. How to visually communicate. It could be verbally, learning to be a good public speaker, learning to tell stories, learning to just communicate and speak to people one-on-one in a really effective way. In the written word, it could be writing nonfiction. For me, one of my superpowers, I think, is taking more complex psychological theories, is taking these bigger ideas and being able to communicate them to people in a way that just makes a lot of sense and is easy to understand, and in at least a relatively fun way, I hope. Some people do really well writing in nonfiction, others like fiction. I mean, if we look at art, really, what is art but communicating some kind of an idea, some kind of metaphor or opinion or emotion or feeling in one of these mediums. The same is of course true for music. You could communicate through lyrics, but you could even be communicating through melody without actually saying anything. More than anything else, developing this communication ability will serve you. As a lot of you know, I travel a lot. I live in different countries around the world, and I usually do not speak the local language. And sometimes this can be really frustrating. I'll watch a conversation going on between someone who's perhaps the translator, they speak English and the local language, and the person who only speaks the local language. And even though I don't speak the language, I can tell that they're not communicating in the right way, but I can't speak the local language, so I can't sort of intervene. And I imagine it may be a similar feeling, having something in your head and you just wish you could communicate it with people and share it, but you can't really do so in a clear or effective way. This is why I think start with the communication method, because when you develop a great ability to communicate, everything else will flow. It's like until you know how to use tools, you could walk into a tool shed. One of the attendees at my Life Design Fiesta event in Prague last year, his name's Santi, and he does woodworking, and he started a YouTube channel now doing woodworking videos and all that. So I imagine you walk into a tool shed, your whole garage setup, right? And if you don't know how to use any tools, you don't really imagine the things you could build because you might feel limited. Like, well, I wouldn't even know how to make that, so why would I imagine what I want to make? But once you have that skill, you know how to use every tool, you know how to turn just pieces of wood into a beautiful piece of furniture, then your imagination can go wild. So I really think when you develop this skill to communicate, the rest of it, figuring out what you communicate, to who you communicate, all that is going to come a lot easier for you. So below in the comments, and this is for everyone, not just Jim, let me know if there was one communication medium that you could master, what would it be and why? Let me know below in the comments on that. And if you are new to the channel, I make new videos each and every week helping you become the best version of yourself, all while creating the most awesome life possible for you and those you love. So consider hitting the subscribe button, and I'll catch you in the next video soon. Bye for now.